Hello and welcome to Whiskey and Wool. My name is Shannon and I am coming to you from northern New Jersey. It is a very dark day out. I actually thought when I woke up this morning, I thought it looked like snow, but it was a little warm. And it has slowly gotten more and more foggy. And by a little too warm to snow. So it's like in the low 40s, like upper 30s, low 40s Fahrenheit. And we need 32 for snow. Yeah, so it's like pretty pea soup out there, pea soupy foggy. I am doing Vlogmas, so I hope that you're maybe finding this full episode from Vlogmas. I'm going to try to keep the context of this episode different from the Vlogmases, so you're going to see some of the same crafts, but it'll be in a different context. Sorry, my nose itches. I'm redoing my intro because I screwed up. All right, before I get into the wool, I am going to do a whiskey chat. I have a really cool whiskey that I've been wanting to taste for quite a while since I saw it on the shelf a few years ago, and I wanted to try it. So I'm going to take you to future me, who's going to talk you through the whiskey chat, and when you come back, we will get into my woolly makes and yeah, all of that. You may notice Martha's missing. That's because I don't have any sweater knits that she can model. She'd just be a big white blob here in her white t-shirt. So yeah, next time. You'll see her next time. Hope you don't miss her too much. She's awfully quiet. Anyway, I'll see you after the whiskey. I'll tell you where to jump to if you don't want to watch the whiskey as well. Okay, I'm going to do a little whiskey chat with you today. The whiskey we're going to taste, now don't be confused because I have not tried this before. This bottle was loaned to me by one of my sons. We're going to try the Balvenie Caribbean Cask, which is aged 14 years, and I'm going to tell you about that. We have tried the Balvenie before. I want to say it was the 12 year. I'd have to go back and look at my notes about it. So I'm not going to do a full rundown of the history, but I'll remind you where they're located. They're located in Duffstown in Scotland, which is in the Speyside region. They are a family-owned operation. They're in their 5th generation of family-run business. They established in, I want to say 1892. Let's see if I'm right, or 1890 something. 1892, I was right, by the Grant family, by William Grant. He established it. And I think there may have been something else on site there before. I'm not really sure. They are also unique, but the Balvenie distillery is unique because they employ their own cooperage, coopers make barrels or repair barrels, and they have on-site coppersmiths that keep all of their stills finely repaired and running. So they think that by keeping those folks employed at their distillery that they save money actually rather than spend money. Plus, they're preserving very special crafts and keeping special craftsmen employed. So they have a pretty full range of whiskey. Theirs is actually a 12-year double wood. That's the one I tasted. They have this 14-year, and they have a 17-year double wood. And then 21-year, 30-year, and 40-year. And then they also have a couple 50 years. They have also started, I think they started it in the 1960s or so. They started what they call a tun. I'm sure my Scottish viewers will help me. Tun, where they marry old casks together and create a mixture of old cask whiskeys enough to bottle, like enough to do a bottling. So they'll mix those together, and they have a series of tons that they have done. Again, TUN. And then they also have a range of whiskeys that they call their stories. So they have Sweet Toast of American Oak, a 12-year. They have the Week of Peat, which is a 14-year. And then they have a Dark a day of dark barley, which is a 20-year, or sorry, 26-year. So they have some pretty interesting whiskeys in their single malts in their lineups. Yeah. So what is special about the 14-year? Let's talk about that. So the 14-year Caribbean cask, it's Caribbean. So if you think about what alcohol is made in the Caribbean, it's rum. So what they do is they have their own rum blend that they make and put into the cask. And then when they determine that the rum is ready, they take the rum out and then they put the whiskey in, and it stays in there for the finishing time. So the 14-year is kept in traditional oak whiskey casks until they go into the rum cask for finishing. Finishing with most whiskeys can be anywhere from like 7-8 months to about 14 or 18 months. So it's the last little bit of its aging process. It's in these finishing casks. So that's also, if you recall, or if you know, or if you watched that episode where I talked about the double wood, that's exactly what they do. They have they finish it off. I want to say in sherry. I don't recall exactly, but they had a finishing process that happened at the very end. Yeah. So, okay. So now that you know that it starts in traditional oak and then finishes in a rum cask, we would expect to have some of those rum flavors, some of those rich, fruity, caramel rum flavors in the whiskey as well. So let's taste. I have already put a couple drops of water in there. In fact, one has rolled down the side. This is what color? We've got a pretty warm toffee color, I would say, with this glass. Wow, really, really sweet. It actually, I smell a bit of like red wine almost in there. Like right off the top of the nose. And when I really get my nose down in there, I can smell the burn of the alcohol. I don't think the proof is that high. I think it's normal. 43%, so that's pretty average. But a really, really sweet, like a sweet sugary candy almost. Or like a sweet red wine, like a very sweet red wine. Sangria maybe even. That sort of sweetness that when you smell sangria, you get that whiff of like red fruits and sugar. That's what it smells like. Okay, let's taste. Oh, not as sweet as I expected. It has, you get burnt sugar in the back of your throat. I expected more cakiness, like more of that cakey. But it's fruity, I would say. It's more of a fruity, and there's a little bit of a nutty flavor too. Almond? Oh, I would say almond, though it could be pecan. I expected more banana, for example. It's fruity, but it's pretty specific fruits. There's a creaminess too at the end, along with that like burnt sugar. So you get the burnt sugar and then a creaminess, like sort of it's coating your mouth in a similar way to the whiskey that I tasted in my last episode with my son and his roommate. Okay, let's see so the Balvenie has their own flavor profile. So let's go through that first. On the nose, rich, sweet, creamy toffee combined with fresh fruit notes. So that's they weren't as specific as I was. The taste, rounded with vanilla. Vanilla. I forget that vanilla is dominant. I still get that tangy zest of a red fruit like plum or sangria. Rounded with vanilla and sweet oak notes. a fruity character that develops with time, and then finish soft and lingering. So not as specific as probably what I'm going to find from the experts at Flavier. So Flavier, this is what they say. Oh, they actually give a little history here. They say that we should first taste vanilla, caramel, passion fruit, honey, tropical fruits. So I think they're talking like mango, pineapple. Then a finish with oak, apple, and a little bit of spice. Yeah, so the passion fruit and pineapple are present, and then at the end, vanilla, oak, and spice that are playing rumba in the background. That's what they say. Yeah, it's really, really good. It is sort of a rum-like Scotch, which you would expect since it spent some time. I wish I knew how many months it spent in the rum barrels. But yeah, it's good. It's really, really tasty. This isn't something that you'd want to drink too fast. I'm actually like not too big of a fan of sweet drinks, so this is pretty sweet, which is probably why. I had actually purchased the bottle for one of my sons, and he decided he didn't like it. So then the other son was going to take it, but I'm like, wait, let me taste it first because I haven't had a taste. So I wanted to do a taste with you. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you get a chance to try a whiskey of your own choice. And yeah, tell me about it too if you want in the comments. If there's a particular whiskey, I've taken requests before, and if there's a particular whiskey you'd like me to get in my queue, I'll do that. I have been opening a whiskey every day in my Vlogmas videos, which you can see. We're going to branch out in 2021 to try whiskeys from other countries besides Scotland. There's certainly some from Scotland that we'll be trying, but a lot of the whiskeys in this whiskey advent calendar, it turns out, are older whiskeys, so like 18 years or 21 years. So that'll be pretty interesting, and they're really from all over the place. So I haven't opened a Japanese whiskey yet. That would be exciting to me. But I have opened a couple from Canada and a couple from Ireland, as well as plenty from Scotland. So I look forward to tasting more of those with you in the new year, and I will be back with you in my next episode later on this month. So I will now turn you back to the Wool chat, and I'm going to sit here and edit and finish my glass of whiskey. It should be really lovely. See you soon. Bye. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing the Shifty by Andrea Mowry. This is not my Christmas Shifty. This is my regular Shifty that I knit out of Spincycle, and I've worn this on the channel before. It's been a while. I actually am not sure how long it's been. It might have been just 2 regular episodes back, or maybe 3 or maybe 10. I really don't remember. I finished this fairly recently because as soon as I finished this, I knew I wanted to make the Christmas Shifty, and I started to plan for that project. Yeah, I made no progress on the Christmas Shifty since I last saw you. I mean, maybe I knit a row or so. It probably really wouldn't be worth looking at right now. I can say if you're watching my Vlogmases, I will be talking about it because I just have a couple more very quick Christmas projects to finish up for other people, gift knitting to finish for other people, and then I'm going to move back to working on the Shifty. I'd really like to finish it by the end of the year, which I don't see why not. I should be able to make it with that because yeah, I can see the end. I can see the end of the line with the gift knitting, so I can see where that's going, and I know how much I have left to do, and I can guesstimate how long it's going to take me to make those things. So anyway, I want to show you some finished objects. I don't have one of them, right? I just don't have one. I've given things away. Oh, I don't have 2 of them. I have given gifts. I've met with people, friends, and I've given those gifts away. And some of them were hand knit. So there were two hats actually that I hand knit and have gifted already. So I can put pictures on. But first, let me show you what I have here. So this is a hat. It was meant to be a gift, but it's going to be for me because I really, really love it. So this is the Portobello hat. Isn't it so cute? Oh my goodness, I love it. So the Portobello hat is a pattern. I'll show you the pattern. It's a pattern by TOFT. They're mostly known for those little animal kits that they make. So they sell entire kits of like a puppy dog or a bear or a yak or a llama. So you buy the kit and then you make everything in there that you need to make. Sorry, my cat's like jumping around. Everything that you need is in there to make the animal. I think everything, even stuffing, I'm not sure. I never made one of their animals. I mean, I might at some point, but I am making an animal, but not from TOFT, and I'll talk to you about that in a sec. So yeah, I went into their booth at Vogue Knitting Live, I think 2 years ago. I want to say Vogue 2018, because this is not a new pattern. Yeah, I think it was 2019 for the pattern. And so that was 2 Vogues ago, if 2021 was happening. And anyway, I bought 2 pom-poms. This is one of them. Their pom-poms are made out of alpaca fur. So what they do is they buy the skin, or maybe the pom-pom maker buys the skin of alpacas that have died, so that the farmers in South America get, it's kind of, yeah, once I read the story I was like, ooh, but they're really beautiful and they feel great. So they buy, the pom-pom maker buys the hides of the alpacas that have passed away and like died of natural causes, and then they make these floofy pom-poms. So I had bought 2 pom-poms. They gave me the hat pattern. This is one of them. I made a second Oslo hat, or sorry, not Oslo. I did make a second Oslo hat, but I made a second Portobello hat in navy blue with using some of my hand spun. It came out so pretty, and that went to a friend of mine. Yeah, so this hat is made out of Jill Draper Make Stuff. That's what this is. So it's like kind of a rustic, a nice feeling, like not itchy, but it has like a little bit more crunchy hand than the superwash wools will have. And then I also used up some leftover Dream State. So you can see it fades on up to a gray. So it starts with pink, goes to yellow, and then to gray. And yeah, I just love this. So I was like, oh, I think I need a new hat. They have you do this extra long brim, and then it's foldable, so you can get a nice cozy double layer around your ears. Yeah, so that's that one. The second one of these that I made is I made from hand spun and this yarn right here, which is Nightshades by Harrisville Tweed. There was enough Nightshades to make another one, so let me pop on screen the one that I finished, because this is also Nightshades with hand spun. This is a different hand spun from the one that you're seeing in the picture that I'll put on here. And I used the citrus colored pom-pom to embellish the top of that hat, and then I gifted it to one of my friends whose birthday was this month. And yeah, anyway, I'm making a third one of those with the Nightshades. I still have enough left, though I'm getting to, pretty close. This is plenty to finish, so I actually will have plenty. And with this one, I'm using leftover hand spun from my Spark sweater that I knit and finished, I think, in my last episode. I think I finished it in my last episode. So this hat is more than halfway done. Just have to do a couple more repeats of the pattern, and then I'll start the decreases.
This is a slip stitch pattern, very similar to the Shifty actually, so if it kind of looks like my sweater, that's why. So it's your knitting mosaic style where you're using just one color at a time, and you're knitting with that one color for a few rows, and then you switch to the other color, and that's how you get like this checkerboard look. This is a stitch marker from, let's see if I can get it to focus, from Simply Serving in Germany. I got it from Homespun House. So I ordered a little Christmas package from her, which I'll show you more of that later. But I got this stitch marker, and I got a little fox on a sled. It's really cute. But yeah, so this is going to I have one more Portobello hat planned for a gift. So this will be a gift for my brother-in-law, and then I have another one planned for one of my nephews that I'm going to be knitting using more Dream State. So Dream State works really well on this because you can see that you get this really pretty fade happening in it. So yeah, I'm going to use this. This is Deep Bump. And I'm going to use this with this leftover DK. So it's a DK weight hat. This leftover DK from Wing and a Prayer Farm, this cormo. So I think those will be nice together. And I think my nephew will really like it. He's similar coloring to me. Like he's a blondie with blue eyes and fair skin. So I think it'll look good on him. So that's a project I have. That I won't be able to show you the actual hat, but I can show you some pictures in my next episode. And same with this one. This Portobello hat. These knit so fast. If I if I were knitting only on this, I could finish this in a day, maybe a day and a half. And that's like with not a day of solid knitting, but a day of like sporadic knitting throughout like my work day, and then maybe knitting for an hour or two at the end of the night while I watch a movie or some TV, or just like sit and chat with people, family or friends, on the phone or on Zoom or whatever. So this knits very, very quickly, so I should have this one done in the next day or so, and then the last one done soon as well. I did run into a little bit of a snafu. I had, I actually have two, but I thought I only had one US size 4 16-inch circular needle. That is perfect for hat knitting. So that's what, this is actually on a US size 6 needle now, but you do the rib in the US size 4. And I thought I only had one of those. And I'm using that now, one of those, to do sleeve knits. So I also use a 16-inch to do sleeves, at least up until the elbow, until the decreases are too much and it doesn't fit anymore. So yeah, I was like, this is the last Portobello I can make because I need to knit these sleeves. But then I found another US size 4. I found the second US size 4. I was using it to knit a second Oslo hat, which I talked to you about last time. I talked to you that I told you I was going to knit it, and what I had put together was a collection of scrappy blue, like turquoisey colored, this mohair. I was holding a strand of mohair and fingering weight, so this was one of the scrappy colors that I had, and then I had a few others. This skein right here, this is Cat Sandwich Fibers from her 7-day advent last year. She gave 50-gram skeins. I had used this when I got it to make a Jessie made bra top for one of my nieces. And I had a dab of it left over, and it was one of the colors that I was mixing in. But it knits into a rainbow pattern. And I'll show you the hat right now so you see what I mean. I held it together with this mint. So I made the underbrims using minty scrap with gold in it. And then this was my second color. And as I was knitting, I was like, I don't think I want to do a scrappy version, like a sort of a, fading in from one color to another. I decided to just do the whole thing in rainbow. And then I gifted it to one of she's not my hairdresser, she's my daughter-in-law's hairdresser, but she works with my hairdresser. So they work together. She's a lovely woman. I love her so much. She went to my daughter-in-law's wedding, and she did my hair there, and she did... so she traveled to Mexico, not just for hair, but she was genuinely invited. She's a dear friend of my daughter-in-law and my son at this point. So anyway, I gifted her the Oslo that I knitted out of these 2 yarns. It came out great, and you can see I still have extra. So those were 3 of my finished objects, plus you've seen a whip. I have one other finished object that I literally finished this morning. It is this right here. This is a headband. Let me see if I can put it on without messing up my hair. Basically, you'd wear it like this. I am gifting it though to my assistant. My assistant at work, she has very big hair, and she often wears it like in a ponytail right here, or she makes a big high bun. So this will be perfect because I really wanted to give her a hat, but I realized, I was thinking about it, I was like, she would never get a hat in that big hair, and if she did, it would have to be a really big hat. So I actually learned about this yarn. This is yarn by Clinton Hill Cashmere, right here. It is, I have the tag in here, so I'm just going to dig for the tag. It is a new launch called, Super Bulky. 24 ply, 100% cashmere, made in Italy. It is really soft, beautiful yarn. The skein is just shy of enough to make a second one of these. Like I could probably do a thinner one, but I don't think much thinner would be so nice. So I might use this either for another project as an accent, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second, or I might just make a baby hat for my granddaughter, because cashmere. And it would knit so fast. This is such plump, fat yarn. 24 ply, she said. Becky told us. Becky is the owner of Clinton Hill Cashmere. But yeah, anyway, this this pattern, it's free with your purchase. And she has patterns for this, a head warmer like this, or a hat, or a cowl, and maybe mitts, I want to say, so far. It's, as I said, it's brand new, so she doesn't, there's still probably more patterns to come. And you knit it basically in a seed stitch, where you knit the pearls and purl the knits. And you cast on very, very few stitches. This was, I would have finished this in maybe 2 hours. But I was very tired last night when I got to the end, and I was like, it tells you to cast off and then stitch them together, but I wanted to do a 3-needle bind off, and I was just like, I'm too tired to think about that right now. Let me just put this down and I will finish it in the morning. But it's really awesome. I'm going to block it because I do like to wet block all of my knits, just because I think everything just lays better on it. Yeah, this is super nice. Super nice. Okay, those are my 4 finished objects, right? 4, so two Portobello hats, the Oslo hat, and then this, she calls it SB, Super Bulky Headband, I think is the name of this pattern. So I'll have put things on screen and also in my show notes. Yeah, and this, I forgot to say, this mohair silk that I held together for the Oslo hat, this both Oslo hats that I made, the one I showed you last time and this one, were made, this is mohair silk from Neighborhood Fiber Company. I don't remember the color name, but I'll look it up for you. Yeah, that's all my finished objects. One of my works in progress. I am mostly toiling away on a secret knit that I am gifting to someone later on this month, and so I can't show you because that person sometimes watches, not all the time, but sometimes watches. And yeah, so that is why I didn't make any progress on my Christmas Shifty. I've been making all these gifts, and I've also been working on that very significant project that is a gift. So I really need to finish that by the end of next week so that I can get it to the person ahead of Christmas. So that is the plan, to finish it by the end of next week. I am also working on, this is a work in progress, so this is a toy for my granddaughter. It is The Love Owl by Susan B. Anderson that just came out in Making Magazine. So this pattern that I'm talking about is in, the owl pattern is in this Making Magazine, the most recent one called Intricate. There are so many beautiful patterns in here. Here it is. Okay. So I'm making this one right here, the bigger one. And the next thing I do is make the wings. And so you can see the wings actually over here on this image, over the little girl's hands. And then after that, everything is pretty much embroidery. I mean, there are those tassels for the ears to do. And I'm hoping, because I'm using scrap yarns, I'm hoping that I have, you can also see like there's an outline for to show you where to embroider for the face. This like groove right here and in the back too, those are from my needles, my double points met. And I did try to pick it out a little bit, but I think I'm just going to go with it. It's pretty much like straight down the body, straight down the half body. And I am doing a bunch of embroidery here on the body, so maybe as I'm embroidering with the needle, I can maybe shift the stitches a little bit. I won't be using gold. I'm going to be using this beautiful turquoise color because this is my favorite color, and besides silver, I love silver as well. But yeah, she's going to be embroidered with the turquoise, and I have so much of this. I only need about 10 yards, I think, of this to do the embroidery on this. I'm hoping to make, because I still have a significant amount of the white left, I'm hoping to make a smaller version. I might do the pattern there, or I may aim for a little bit smaller so that it really looks like a baby, and I'll see how that goes. I may make a couple of those. That's my plan for my granddaughter, for her stocking. But I thought it would also be really fun to make an egg out of this color so that she could play, you know, like the owl sitting on the egg, and then the egg hatches and there's a baby. I just thought that would be really cute and really fun for her. So yeah, those are all the things that I've been working on lately. It's a lot of little things, so and a couple big things. I'm also so excited about so many new things to work on when the holiday gift knitting is behind me. Let me talk to you about spinning, because I have been spinning after my last failure, my spinning failure. This one, which I actually think I'm just going to make into a hat for somebody. I was thinking that it would make a good Portobello hat, maybe with the gray, to just like tone down that black. I think that would be pretty. But I think I'm running out of steam on the hat knitting right now. So spinning. Let's talk about spinning, and then I'll talk about future projects. I finished a skein since I last spoke to you. And this is from my fiber advent. So I'm not really going to talk too much about my advents because I have that's a conversation I'm having over on Vlogmas. And I'm in the process of opening, I ended up with 3 small versions, like 3 mini yarn skeins, which sets of mini skeins, which I'm going to show you one set here because it's completely open, but the other 2 I'm not going to show you this time. I may show them next time, or you can just watch Vlogmas. I usually do the advents early, so if you just have a few minutes and you don't want to watch the entire episode, just watch the first few minutes, and they're usually in there at some point. I'm also opening a fiber advent, 2 fiber advents actually, from the same supplier. They're from Le Petite Potions, and she is I think she's British living in France. I'm not sure she's French, but she speaks French, of course, very well. She posts in French often. And a lot of the names of the fibers that I've been opening are in French, so it's really cool. I had her fiber advent last year, and I loved it. It was so much fun. I like the woman who, I don't remember her name. I'll put it on screen if I can find it. But I like her aesthetic. I think her colors are the colors that I also love. The colors she chooses are colors that I also love. I tend to love like these minty, as you can see. This is actually, what I'm wearing is pretty much the colors that I love. I love turquoise, I love blues, greens, but I like to contrast those turquoise, blues, and greens with the colors that are on the opposite side of the color wheel, which are usually orange, or like burnt red, like those sort of more autumnal colors, yellow even, or orangey yellow, even red purple. I like, so you could see what exactly what you're seeing going on here, like the yellow tones and the pinks and orange tones down here contrasting with the turquoise. So that tends to be what I knit with the most. So if you're a regular viewer, this is going to be so familiar to you. You're going to absolutely know what I'm talking about. But if you're a new viewer, yeah, that's pretty much my jam in terms of colors. But I do kind of pretty much knit the rainbow. I pretty much knit with all colors at some point. I just enjoy those colors the most. And if you left me alone in a room with a bunch of colors, those are the colors I would gravitate towards. I'd probably go over to the blues and greens, but I'd be holding like a skein of pink in my hand. I'm going like, yeah, I like these, but I also like that. But this is good. This is a good accent. So I tend to like kind of go for those type of colors. Yeah, so Le Petite Potion seems to reverberate with those colors too. The blues, the greens with pops of pinks. It's a lot of pinks actually in her advent calendar last year. So I went ahead and bought both the 25-day, the full month of the full advent of fiber, and then I also bought a 12-day because she said with her 12-day she was setting it up so that it would be a gradient fade as you spin it. So I opened so those you open every other day. I've opened 6 of them, so I'm halfway through all the advents, actually, the long advent as well, the 25-day. That was the fiber's the only, well, and I got whiskey, of course. I got a whiskey advent. That is also it's 24 days. So every day I'm opening a whiskey, every day I'm opening a fiber, and then what yarn I open depends on what day it is, and then the extra fiber comes every other day. That's the way it's been working. So when I got to about the 3rd or 4th bag of the short 12-day gradient advent, I wanted to start spinning. And I realized I could see that the fade was, I'm going to put a picture in here, that fade was going from mint to like a minty peach to a pink to a bright pink. So I saw that was what was happening. And I started to spin. And I actually started to spin the first bobbin. I took each, I'm going to show you my next spin. I took each braid and divided them in half, and then with one bobbin I just spun, and I'm going to do the same with the next 2 skeins that I'm planning. I spun end to end, so one color then the other color, and then the second bobbin I took an equivalent section of this fiber, pulled it in half, divided it in half, and then did each color in a row in 2 repeats. So 1 repeat, then a second repeat. And that created some really gorgeous yarn, which I know I haven't showed you because I kind of want you to see the progression. So I'm going to put a picture in here of what the finished skein looked like, and then I'm going to show you what the cake looks like. So on the cake, you can see that I got a really nice progression. In the center is the mint because that was the first day I opened. And then on the outside is this incredibly bright, hot, neon-y pink and peach. And then I got a little pink and peach in between, but it's really generally a beautiful fade. There's some where the colors are mixing here, the pink and mint are mixing together. It's creating this nice fade into a bright pink, and then it goes back to mint and then back to a bright pink. So I was figuring out that this is fingering weight. It's a 2-ply. I was figuring out that 3 skeins, so 3 skeins of fingering knit a sweater for me. So I was like, ooh, this is going to make a sweater's quantity, these 3 skeins. And so the next one is going to, the 3 skeins laid stacked on top of each other should create a fade. So this is the next 2 days. So I said I opened 6 days. So these are the next 2 days. This will be the first bit that I spin in one batch and then on one bobbin, and then this is the second day. So I'm really curious to see what happens with this skein. Like, where is this skein going? Is it going to, so we're going from this hot pink to this bright yellow and orange, and then that's fading into a peachy color that's got some splotches of blue and purple in there. I think, yeah, I'm curious to see what the next one is. I'll be opening that tomorrow, so I'll know tomorrow. And, you know, I can start spinning now. I can start the first bobbin of the second skein. I actually thought we were going, when I opened the mint, and then I opened, because the mint I opened had a lot of purple in it. And then I opened another minty one that was a little more minty peachy. Like the way that this bit is peachy pink, it was like minty peach, like with mint with splotches of peach. When I got there, I thought, this is going, like at the end on the, you know, the last bag I open is going to be purple. So somehow we're going to get to purple. But now I'm like, I don't know. I've been surprised. I was very surprised at the hot pink, but you know what? This works. And I can't even wrap my head around what kind of genius or whatever how your brain works to know that this is what you need to do, like in terms of the amount that you're dyeing, that this is the rate of progression. I probably, if I was doing the dyeing, of course have no experience with dyeing. I probably would have made it a slower progression, but this is great. I love this. This skein is beautiful. Yeah, so I'm going to do all 3 skeins, of course, and then I'll figure out what type of project to make. But I'm imagining like some sort of like plain knit, loose, boxy fitting something. You know, like just sort of a very plain raglan or something. Yeah, we'll see. I have plenty of ideas for patterns. I just want to see the whole thing before I make a decision. So yeah, that has been spinning. It's been fun. And yeah, I'm sure after my last, seeing my face about the last spinning, you're probably glad to see that I'm happy about my spin project. And I'm going to show you stash acquisitions right now. That is my next thing to show you. I have gotten some stash, which I'll go through and explain. The first stash that arrived after I last recorded was from A Homespun House. I got this really cute Christmas card with Molly and her husband, whose name I don't know, but I know you guys know if you know Molly at A Homespun House. So Molly's an American who married a German. Her husband's German. This is one of her Christmas colorways that I picked up called Whobulation. Yeah, just making sure I got that right. She had a little pre-Christmas update that I decided to go ahead and shop because I had already started my Christmas Shifty and I was enjoying it, and I have a lot of partial skeins and single skeins of Christmas colors, and I thought it would be fun to get another one and hang on to it and figure out what to do. I have bought her yarn before. I got it a couple months ago. That was the first time I bought her yarn, and I am so surprised by the quality of it. It is so beautiful and soft. I mean, this is just a regular old 75-25 sock yarn, but it has really soft hand. Like even I bought some mystery yarn from her, and I got like a mohair silk base from her, and then also a singles base. And they were both like very incredibly soft and mushy, smushy yarn. So I don't know whether it's her mill or her finishing process, but really, really impressive. So I ended up just buying this one skein with the 2 progress keepers that I mentioned and a candle. I bought a candle, like a Christmas themed candle, because I am candle obsessed. This is Wax and Wool back here. This is their Christmas tree one. They call it Tree Farm sometimes, but around Christmas time, but it's Evergreen State the rest of the year. But yeah, obsessed. What else? Spinning wise, I got, I have joined Into the World, pronounced or spelled that way, Into the World. I've joined their fiber club. I joined it because I wanted to try different fleeces. I wanted to try spinning different fleeces, and I really do like, I think that they get me color-wise. They're those turquoise and greens. It's also got a little bit of gray in there. I joined it because every year, or every month rather, they send you a bag, a nice plump bag like this, a 4-ounce bag of a different type of wool. And I wanted to try different types of wools. Like instead of spinning these bits of wool like this that were a bunch of different types, I wanted to spin a wool that's one type. So that's what they give you. They give you a different type of wool. This one happens to be South Down. That's the wool that's in the bag, and it's got a little bit of a coarse hand. But yeah, so I'm gonna try this. I don't know when I'll spin it because I'm gonna be all about spinning the Advents for now. But I just thought, this will be a good way for me to figure out what wool I really like and what wools I want to stay away from. I learned a little bit from spinning the Advent I bought last year. But I thought it would just be more, like, it would be interesting to give it that a try. So I'll keep it up for a few months, and then you can always get out of it. They don't have open membership to their clubs. They have very limited amounts of clubs. And then what they do when they have a handful of openings, they send a call out. So the best way to get into their club is to sign up for their newsletter, and then you'll see it when they have openings that they will let people join in. So for now, I'm going to stick with it. This was November's bat. I'll get one soon for December. It should be coming. Well, who knows? Because the mail is so messed up right now. But I'll have a December one and a January one. I'm just going to keep it up until I feel like I have more than enough to play with. All right. I'm going to show you my Stress Knits 7-day. So if you haven't opened your 7-day and you don't want to be spoiled, then you've been warned. So here's my Stress Knits 7-day. They were all individually wrapped, and I opened them. I had opened them all, so I just bundled them up and put a ribbon around them so I could put them under the tree. They are all, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say they're all new colors, but I actually don't know that. Oh my goodness. There is a hair on my nose. These two I know were in her most recent update. This is Glow and this is Old Christmas Tree. She loves coffee, cold brew, and that's the name of this one. So I think that's probably going to be in her colorways, but this is the one that I think needs to be in there ASAP. It's called Terrazzo. It is so beautiful. I just think it would be super popular. It's sort of a soft pink with grays and lavenders and gold speckles. It's so pretty, so pretty. So yeah, there's some really pretty colors in here. It makes me sort of wish I got the full full calendar. But I still have minis from my calendar from last year. So I was like, I don't know if I want another 24 minis. So I just did 12. And I impulse bought another 12-day advent of minis from Stitch Together Studio. So I just opened the first day today because she said wait till the 12th. And I also bought a very cool, special, unique 12-day mid-century, based on mid-century modern, in 100% cashmere DK weight mini skeins from Cashmere Treats, and it is so delightful. That's going to be one project. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I figured out I will have 480 yards of cashmere at the end, which is pretty nice. So that'll be fun. I'll do something with them. I don't know what, but I have one skein of Clinton Hill that's 2 years old. It's a DK weight, beautiful soft gray. It is a full skein, even though the tag has fallen out. And I do have a handful of scraps from her too. White, black sand. So I have this, and then I preemptively bought at a sale that Clinton Hill had. So besides buying the bulky skein, I also bought this beautiful bright yellow in the DK called YOLO. And I bought, because she said this was her favorite pairing with the yellow, I bought more sand, the DK weight sand. I say more because I have a little dab of this that's left over from my New York laneway, which I made 2 years ago. That's a pattern that I have written myself. Now, I just want to show you something, because I found out this week what Pantone color of the year for 2021 are, and it turns out it's these. It's yellow and gray. So it's not this bright shade of yellow, but I'll put a picture on here, unofficial. So yeah, I was like, oh, also Grello lovers, you're gonna get another, good run of Grello according to Pantone. So good for you. Good for you. I'm not necessarily a Grello person. Grello is gray and yellow together. I actually was going to buy the white to go with this bright yellow, but she said the sand looks really good with it. So, and I was thinking I might end up making some hats or something out of this for gifts. I just have to see. But I think I'm at my end of gift knitting. So yeah, I have all of these too to play with the DK minis from Cashmere Treats. So I think all in, I may have enough yardage for a sweater. So I'm gonna open all the skeins and make a decision after the holidays, and take it from there. Is that all my? Oh, I have one other stash position to show you. Another store had a sale. And I was hunting for some chunky yarn to make Christmas stockings. So if you've watched my Vlogmases for the last few years, you will know that I have knit stockings for my family since I was 18 years old. So the first set of stockings I knit for my family, I made when I was 18. And this is a quick little clip from my Vlogmas to show you all the stockings that I have in patterns in my shop that you can try out. So I'm going to talk to you about my stocking project that I am making. I'm going to remake the one that my niece just pointed at. And yeah, that's what's going on. I don't have enough yarn to make one more stocking, and I want to make a stocking for the baby. For my granddaughter. So I went hunting. Local yarn shop in New York City area was having a sale, and I was like, let me just look through and find a bulky, and I stumbled upon a loopy mango, and I was like, this is soft, beautiful, bulky yarn. They call it worsted, but it's bigger than worsted, definitely. And if it knits up, I'll cast on, and if I find that it's too small, like I'm getting a smaller gauge, I'll just cast on more stitches and modify the pattern slightly for this knitting of it. So I bought this beautiful red, which, does it have a color? Red Riding Hood. It's right there. And I bought this pine green, which they're calling army green. So I have these two. These will be accents, and the main body is going to be this one. It's the same yarn, but this one is hand-dyed and naturally dyed. The color is called, so these commercially made ones come like this. These are made in Italy, and then this yarn is sent over in, I think, in natural. This one's called Rose Quartz, and then it comes out in a regular skein. And it is dyed with a plant 100% superwash merino. It's dyed with this, I'm just going to hold the thing up so you can see the line right there. See, it's dyed with cute her bracho bark, which I don't know what that is, but it makes a pink color apparently. So because I have this color right here. So I bought 2 skeins of this. This doesn't look like much to make a stocking, but it should be enough. It's the same yardage that the pattern calls for. Actually, I have more yardage than what the pattern calls for. And then what I'll do is some accents in the red, I think. I'm going to do like a snowflake pattern. And I just bought green just in case. And I figured if I'm going to make more stockings and I want to use this yarn, at least I'll have red and green on hand. I also found this bag of bulky yarn that I had in my stash. It was a gift from a friend. And it's Christmas colors too. And then I also have this worsted from a little dab of gold. So I may use these as accents as well. And there's more. It's a cone. So it's just like gold glitter yarn. So that'll hold together with one of the other ones to get a good accent. So yeah, so that's a little, have it in my Clinton Hill bag. It's a little project for this week as well that I'm going to cast on as soon as I cast off a hat. Fun, right? I think that's all I have for you. If you want to see more day-to-day of my day-to-day life and also day-to-day crafting, so I do a little craft update in each vlog, as well as I show you my advents and show you other little things that are going on around me. A lot of like nature, a lot of serene like sort of nature scenes, a lot of cat. There's a lot of cat and Christmassy stuff. Just trying to help us all get through the pandemic. Yeah, so thank you, and I will see you again soon. I will come back with another full video around the end of the year, so either just before New Year's or just after, where I will do a roundup of what I knitted for the year, what I knitted in 2020, what my knit projects were, and I'm also going to do a roundup of my stash. Like, I went into 2020 thinking I was going to do a stash down, and then a pandemic happened, so stash down kind of went by the wayside, and I did a little bit more comfort buying, I think. And I will also talk about my future projects. So I didn't do that this time. Sorry. Yeah, it's already long enough. I don't want to talk about future projects now. So I will talk about future projects. Well, maybe I'll even be knitting some future projects when I see you next. So yeah, have a great, lovely holiday season, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.